Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Kummer, and today I have with me Catherine Kummer, my wife, and we want to do an experiment today and find out how two popular keto, paleo, protein bars impact both blood sugar and ketone levels. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel and you click that little alert button so you get notified if I publish more videos like this. So with that getting started, let me just tell you a few things about measuring ketones and blood glucose and how food can impact that before. We just got up, it's relatively early, so normally glucose levels tend to be a little higher in the morning and ketone levels a little lower. And for glucose, one of the reasons is that the body releases cortisol in the morning, so that might keep your glucose level a little higher than usual. But we are doing all the tests with that Keto Mojo blood glucose and blood ketone monitor. So we have those test strips for glucose and ketones. I don't necessarily want you to look at the absolute numbers, but I want you to look at the difference over the next 30, 60, and 120 minutes to see how consuming either a perfect keto bar, which is low in net carbs, or a bulletproof collagen protein bar impacts our blood glucose and blood ketone levels. Mostly the blood sugar, that's more important I think here. My expectation is that we're not gonna see a lot of changes with perfect keto, and we're gonna see a spike in blood glucose. Spike is relative, but at least an increase in blood glucose with the bulletproof bars. So you're gonna pick bulletproof today to start, and I'm gonna pick the perfect keto. Okay. Let's see. And also, I should say we are fasted, so we haven't eaten for 12 hours. So which finger do you want?
I don't know.
Yeah, shake it down. Shake it good. All right. This one it was, right? The other thing maybe we can mention here in the meantime is that we are both on a relatively high-fat diet.
Yes.
It's 82. So we are really on a ketogenic diet for the most part. Maybe you're not as strict as I, but we all eat very high fat, low carb. But 82 is a perfectly fine reading, so just for reference, anything between 70 and 100 would be considered a normal blood sugar reading on in a fasted state. The idea is obviously when you eat high fat, low carb food, that blood sugar doesn't go up significantly above your baseline. When we eat keto meals, it might go up a little bit, but not by very much. You don't want to see a spike like to 150 and 180 milligrams per deciliter, I think it is. All right, let's do the ketone test. See if you've been a good girl. 0.2. So technically you're not in nutritional ketosis, but then again, levels are lower in the morning often, and the more fat adapted you are, the lower your blood ketone readings often are. So let's
Yeah, but in my case, we probably don't know if I'm really fat adapted.
Yeah, that is true. You've not been really.
I'm not very into keto. I snack more.
Yeah.
And my snacks
So you're
high on carbs.
Yeah, you like the bulletproof bars.
Yeah, but not the chocolate ones.
But the thing is, neither bar is really bad. I mean, bulletproof, they are good ingredients, clean ingredients. Nothing wrong with the bar except that it's higher in carbs. So if you follow a ketogenic diet or low carb diet, this one is going to raise your blood sugar significantly more, I would expect, than the perfect keto. And that's like one of the reasons, one of the things we want to find out here. By how much? What's the difference? Oh, look at that, I'm 94. When did you get up today? Earlier than me, no?
6.
Okay, yeah, I slept much longer. I slept like over 8 hours. I had to catch up on some sleep, it looks like. So I'm 94
Oh my god.
milligram per deciliter.
You have so much blood.
All right, let's check the ketone levels. 0.2 as well, look at that. I think that's the lowest reading I've ever had since I've measured in the last year. So now I'm gonna eat one of these guys.
No, those are my favorites.
Those are your favorites. Okay,
If you're gonna buy the birthday cake flavor.
All right, those are the almond butter brownie.
And we have chocolate chip cookie dough,
Yeah.
which I'm having that with the bulletproof.
Yeah. All right. So just for comparison, also in terms of net carbs, so we have in the perfect keto here we have 11 grams of total carbs, but there are 9 grams of dietary fiber. That leaves us with 2 grams of net carbs. So you subtract the the fiber or any non-caloric type of, well, not necessarily non-caloric, but non-blood sugar raising type of carbs like sugar alcohols, like fiber from the total carbs, and that gets you the net carbs, and the net carbs are the ones that can increase your blood sugar. So we have 2 grams of net carbs, and that includes 1 gram of sugar from what I assume is stemming from the almond butter. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna have that guy, and we're gonna measure again in 30 minutes, in an hour, and in 2 hours, and see how those numbers develop.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, we are back here 30 minutes later, so no, you cannot have another bar. We are just testing our blood. And I should also mention that this video was sponsored by nobody. We bought all that stuff ourselves for the sake of science. Bam.
Hi.
See? Now we are talking. So this is now 30 minutes after consuming. You had the Bulletproof and I had the Perfect Keto bar, and your blood glucose went up to 95 from 82. So we had 0.3 ketones before, 0.4 now.
Okay, I'm done. Bye.
You're done. Done with you. So I had 90 something before, right? And now I had 88, so my glucose was a little higher because I just literally got up like 20 minutes before the video, and now it's going down, and as you can see, that Perfect Keto bar didn't really influence my blood sugar at all yet. It went down, it didn't go up, so that's a good thing. And now let's see if my ketones have changed at all. The thing with blood ketone levels is the more fat you eat and the more your body uses that fat and the fatty acids to fuel your body, you see more byproduct in the form of ketones in your blood. Now I'm at 0.5, so my ketones level actually have gone up, and that's as I expected. All right, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this again in half an hour. So we had the 60-minute mark, and then again in an hour later, so we have the 2-hour mark reading as well, and we'll see how that goes.
Eventually.
Okay, so we're now at the 60-minute mark. 95. So it's, I think it was 92 or 93. 1.3. I'm proud of you, woman. You're in ketosis.
¿Quieres hacerlo?
No,
¿Por qué?
¿por qué no?
Eso no duele. Mire, ya se fue la sangre.
So I had 80 something before, and now I'm 86. So pretty stable.
¿No? ¿Por qué?
Oh, there's still 0.5. You win, sucker.
Maybe
All right.
I'm not fat adapted.
See you again in 1 hour.
1 hour later.
So you just showered, you worked out, all the stuff that you can do within an hour. So let's see where we are. Oh, there you go. See what the workout does. So you're at 90. It's coming back down. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Ketone test over 1 point something,
1.3.
right? 1.3. Low. So
Kicked me out.
there goes your ketosis. That could be because of your workout. High intensity workouts tend to deplete ketone levels if your body uses that stuff for energy. How?
Tome. Ah. Tome.
Let's see, my blood sugar 85. So mine did not change at all really. It actually came down from the first measurement in the morning. 0.5. So my ketones have been stable as can be. All right, and we're gonna wrap it up here in a little bit.
I like to talk like this.
Okay guys, we are back with the conclusion. My wife's taking care of the kids now, so she won't be here, but and before actually I tell you the results and the conclusion of all of it, just for the fun of it, it's been 4 hours now since the consumption of those bars, and I just want to do another test and see what's happening with my glucose and ketone levels now before we are about to have lunch. Okay, at 84, so like right along what I had all the time here. And let's see, ketones, probably still at 0.5. So at 0.6, so my ketones are going up a little bit. Anyway, so what we found is that after, let's start with Kathy. She had one of the Bulletproof collagen protein bars, which are higher in net carbs than the Perfect Keto bars. they have 9 grams of net carbs, and she started out in the morning before eating that bar with blood glucose levels of 82. So that's right around normal on a fasted state. Now I want to say that we started a test at 7 in the morning, and she got up at 6 or so. So she had like an hour between getting up and doing the first test, and that's important because when you get up and do a test right away, chances are your glucose is going to be higher than before it's settling down a little bit because of the cortisol that the body releases in the morning, and the ketones are likely a little lower. And we see that reflected here in her test. So the baseline, her baseline was 82 milligrams per deciliter glucose and 0.2 mmol per liter of ketones. So technically at that point she was not in ketosis, or at least not based on the blood test. But as I've mentioned before, if you're fat adapted, your body is more efficient in using the ketones that are in your bloodstream, and so the readings might not be as high as and it might not be an indication that you're not in ketosis, that you're not fat adapted. But anyway, 30 minutes later, her glucose went up to 95. So we see a not a massive spike, but still from 82 to 95, we can tell that consuming the Bulletproof collagen protein bar had definitely an impact on her blood sugar. At the 60-minute mark, it was still at 95, and at the 2-hour mark, it was still at 90. So it stayed relatively high, or higher at least than her baseline, and that's not necessarily unexpected because those bars have carbs, 9 grams of net carbs. So I would recommend, if you're on a ketogenic or low carb diet, don't overindulge in those bars. They're gonna kick you out of ketosis at some point. Now interestingly, looking at her ketone levels, she started with 0.2, at 30 minutes it went up to 0.4, and then at the 1 hour mark she was at 1.3, so she was clearly in ketosis at that point before she dropped down to 0 at the 2 hour mark. I like to think, ketone levels are fluctuating throughout the day. Don't try to chase ketones and go too nuts with measuring your levels every hour or so. But I like to think that having consumed that that bar likely kicked her out of ketosis. That's at least what I'm thinking here happened. And then if you look at my levels, I started out with 94 milligram per deciliter, but that was likely because I just got up 30 minutes before doing that test. I slept pretty long last night, much longer than usual, and so this is not a normal reading for me. This was a little bit higher than normal, and you can tell that at the 30-minute mark, after I've consumed one of the Perfect Keto bars, which only has 2 grams of net carbs, I went down to 88, then to 86 at the 60-hour mark, and to 85 at the 2-hour mark. And what was it right now? I had 86 now. So that's, I guess, kind of my baseline. I've had readings at 70, high 70s, but mid 80s is around my baseline. So the bottom line really here is that the Bulletproof bars will impact your blood sugar, and they might kick you out of ketosis, definitely if you eat more than one. The Perfect Keto bars, on the other hand, had no impact whatsoever, or at least consuming one had no impact whatsoever on my blood glucose levels, and my ketones actually went up or were unaffected at the end of the day. Now, if you want to find out more about the Perfect Keto bars and how eating maybe a second bar might impact your blood sugar and blood ketone levels, check out my blog article. I just did a review on those bars with a very detailed analysis of eating 1 and 2 bars over 3 days, basically, to find out what the impact is, and especially if you consume more than 1 bar. I'm not going to give it away what the results were, so check out the blog article. I'm going to mention it below. And that was pretty much it. An interesting test. However, I kind of anticipated the results. The more carbs obviously you eat, the higher your impact on your blood sugar and your insulin release. And the less carbs you eat, like a Perfect Keto bar with only 2 grams or 3 grams of net carbs, then you likely won't see any impact at all. So if you like to see more videos like this, if you like to see my wife in more videos, let me know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert button so you get notified when I publish more videos like this. Thanks guys, bye bye.